with very brief country presentations of delegates from SAARC countries who give little insights of their institutional setups, their generation plannings, and other insightful information. I would request if the delegate from Sri Lanka, Mr. Sanjaya Narayana Obiseri. Sir, please start with the presentation.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Sanjay Obiseri. I am an electrical engineer, transmission planning of Ceylon Electricity Board, Society Sri Lanka, and the head of transmission division. Board, Mr. Arya, additional general manager transmission, is also with me for this workshop. And directly jumping into the power sector framework in Sri Lanka, we have the government and the Ministry of Power and Renewable Energy as the policy maker who formulate the policies, and we have a regulator, Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka. That's the regulating body ensuring the consumer protection, and their main duty is to issue the licenses as well as renew the licenses, and they are involved in the tariff formulation. And regarding the generation licenses, most of the major power plants are owned by Ceylon Electricity Board or CEB. It's a utility in Sri Lanka, and there are some independent power producers as well as the small power producers. They are sending the power to CEB, Ceylon Electricity Board, through various power purchase agreements. And the transmission network is solely owned by the Ceylon Electricity Board, the CEB. And we have 4 distribution divisions, 4 distribution licenses owned by CEB, as well as we have LECO, Lanka Electric Company Private Limited, it's a subsidiary of CEB, and they are also doing the distribution business. CEB is mainly doing the distribution for electric area and below levels, but LECO is doing 11 kV and below, and consumers are connected to the distribution licenses. Regarding the country information, we have a population around 21 million, GDP per capita is around 2,800 US dollar. Area park is around 65,000. Installed capacity is 4,000 megawatt. Peak demand, 2017 figures 2007, but it has been increased now. Annual electricity demand 14,000 gigawatt hours, and electrification level we have come to 99%, almost covered. And as per according to the latest reports, the per capita electricity consumption is around 600 kilowatt hours per year. And regarding the installed generation capacity, we have CB on major hydro plant, that is the largest portion, 34%. And there are CB on thermal power plant, including coal power plant, and coal power plant percentage as 20%, and there are some other CB thermal oil power plant 15%. Also the IPP, mineral power producers, also have 70% share. And currently we are having 14% renewable energies, but in the very near future that will be increased. So regarding the peak demand forecast, in 2018 figures, we have reached 2,700 peak demand. That will be increasing with the average growth rate of 4.6, but it will be increased very soon. And 2030 we are expecting 4,700, around 4,700 megawatt peak demand. So regarding the generation forecast, you can see at present we are having hydro portion as most largest portion, but maybe in future with the introduction of LNG plants and the other coal plants, that share will be changed, that because we are moving towards the thermal and renewable energy trend. So hydro share will be reduced with that one, and we are absorbing more solar potential and wind potential, and there will be thermal power plants and LNG power plants in the future. Regarding the transmission network, the figure is not so clear. So this is the present transmission system network in Sri Lanka. We have around 60 number of substations, including switching stations, and we have around 600 220 kV lines and 132 kV lines around 2,000, about 2,000 kilometers. So the central part of the country is mainly consists of hydro generation. The hydro sources are there, and the load center is around Colombo, the capital city of Sri Lanka. And we have a major power plant, that's the largest plant at present, North Chole area. So around 900 megawatts there. So this will be developed in 2021 with the incoming of new projects funded by ADB and JICA. And finally, we will have more detailed network in 2027. And you can see that here we have a 100 megawatt solar park, and here we have at first stage we have 100 megawatt and maybe 300 megawatt wind park, and in the future we will have over in another 400 around 400 solar plus wind park. So we will develop the transmission network, transmission infrastructure to harness that energy. So regarding the renewable energy development, so this is the current status. So we are having 10 megawatt scale large solar plants and rooftop around 100 megawatt as well as wind 128 megawatt. So this portion will be enlarged. So in future we are going to absorb more solar and wind potential soon. So it's the same thing I have explained as a capacity share, how the hydro share and renewable and other generation share has been changed with the time in future. So this is regarding the proposed cross-border interconnection between India and Sri Lanka. Actually it's a discussion level because several studies have been carried out to find the most economical path for this interconnection, because there is a submarine cable involved in this part, so we need to consider the economic aspects as well. So according to the latest studies, so we are going to have it overhead line up to this Dhanushkodi in India, then having a submarine cable up to Kalemena in Sri Lanka, then headline come to New Harbour switching station in Sri Lanka. So this is under discussion level. Various discussions are going on between the Power Grid India and Central Electricity Board, and a joint technical committee has been appointed to discuss the matters regarding this. And this is the transmission planning procedure now, because as transmission planning unit we are responsible for making the long-term transmission development plan, which is made for future 20 years. So this is mainly involved PSSE software. So I'm not going to detail explain the one by one because with the limited time. So the total point is we get the information, we get the input regarding the existing transmission network model, and we model it using PSSE software, and we carried out future system studies. As a result of the PSSE studies, we are generating transmission expansion proposals, and we are presenting that to our funding sources for funding, applying for funding. That's the brief. So rather than covering the status, we address them as challenges for interconnection. First challenge is delay of implementation of committed transmission infrastructure due to environmental and social conditions, because there are some small bottlenecks, low voltages in the present system, but they will be eliminated in very soon after implementation of the transmission proposals which are going on. But the thing is, there are certain delays due to the environmental factors as well as social factors for the implementation of those projects. So as the projects get delayed, so we have to face some difficulties. That is short time, but it will be eliminated soon. Other thing is raising of finance for development proposals, because most of the transmission proposals are foreign funded projects, AED, JICA and other various funding sources. So we need to depend on the loans and other things. And regarding the NCR energy, we need, there are so many potential sites spread all over the country, but we need to access the grid to integrate that one, to harness the energy. So we need to build additional infrastructure to connect them to the grid, so which incurs the cost, additional cost. And there are most of these renewable energy sources are developed by the private sector. So sometimes their implementation schedules are beyond the control of our hand. And another thing is the operational planning restrictions, because most of things are not monitored or controlled by the central control center and dispatchable. So there are some set limitations, but we are working on that one. We are proposing a renewable energy desk for that one, to monitor it, to regulate it.
This is the power generation and domestic demand scenario as per the BBC Power Data Book of 2017. So energy generation was 7,709.22 million units. Among that, domestic load was 2,185.75 million units. So total number of customers was 1,85,130, and rural electrification coverage ratio was 99.97%. So the national coincidental peak load occurred in 2017 was 362.09 megawatt. And in total, the transmission route length is 1,123.664 kilometer, and total transformation capacity is 1,070.5 MVA. So the global system loss including within is 2%, and transmission losses including within is 1.25%. This is the scenario of the per capita electricity consumption from 2011 to 2017. The per capita consumption in 2017 was 2,877, and similarly in 2016 it was 2,613.8 kilowatt. This graph shows the demand and pump power scenario. So in 2018, the projected peak load is 444 megawatt, whereas the pump power from the existing hydropower plant is 320 megawatt. So we are going to face a shortage, especially during the lean season, and similarly in 2019 as well. However, the situation is going to improve by 2020, because by 2020 some of the projects under construction are expected to get commissioned, and from 2020 to 2030 the pump power is always at higher side than the projected demand. So there won't be any shortage of power from 2020 to 2030. So this is the existing transmission scenario. So in our country, Bhutan, the transmission voltage are 66 kV, 132 kV, 220 kV, and 400 kV. For 400 kV, 2 loose conductor is being used. For 220, silver conductor is used, and for 132, panther conductor is used, and for 66, drop conductor is used. In total, there are 9 feeders connecting to India. They are as follows. There are 4 400 kV feeders connecting to Siliguri in India. Similarly, there are 3 220 kV feeders connecting to Bhilpara, India. Then 2 132 kV connecting to Bongabong and Rangia in India. This map shows the transmission lines which are under construction. Basically, they are for the evacuation of power from the project which are under construction. These are the 400 kV lines which are under construction. So, in addition to the existing delivery links, in order to evacuate power from this project, 4 additional feeders are under construction stage. That is 400 kV Cosmos line double circuit to Alipurduar and another double circuit to Alipurduar. So in total, there would be 13 feeders connecting to India. So this is the proposed transmission system from projects under DPR stage. So in total, there are about 8 projects which are ready for the implementation. And in order to evacuate power from those projects, the additional feeder are as follows. There's another 1 double circuit Cosmos line to Alipurduar and 2 double circuit Cosmos line to Rangi Rauta in India. 400 kV two-node line to Rangi Rauta in India. So the grid conditions. So currently, since the network of our countries, there is not much of overvoltage problem are faced. In order to limit the voltage in order to keep the voltage within the permissible limit, we have 60 MVA shunt reactor installed at Talahai power plant. So similarly, we have 2 into 5 MVA shunt reactor in the eastern part of Bhutan to control the voltage in 132 kV system. So in the lean seasons, when the line is lightly loaded, in order to avoid the voltage rise issue, only the required lines are kept in service. So this is about the power sectors in Bhutan. Thank you.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Development History. This is the contents of my presentation. I'm Assistant Manager at Power System Planning at Office of General Manager Power System Planning. What I would like to say that NTDC, District Transmission Dispatch Company, is mainly responsible for the 500 and 200 220 kV transmission lines and the construction and the system planning. Responsibility of power system planning. According to the Transmission and National Transmission and Dispatch Company license and grade code, planning power agency is responsible for the power system planning of the whole country. Whatever power system planning process is, then we have a section of load forecast and generation planning, and then transmission planning, and then resource planning. Basically, the load forecast and resource planning conduct the studies about the load and the generation that will be coming in the near future or existing, and then model, and that load is used by transmission planning. That transmission planning, that the department that do their planning studies and for the extension of transmission planning and generation. And then the data that has been created at transmission planning, that is used by the resource planning for PC1s and PC2 or for all the data departments. Load forecast and generation planning, transmission planning and resource planning. That are the main subsections of the power system planning department. Load forecast section. Load forecast is the first and foremost step of planning on which the investment in generation and transmission expansion is based. Basically, load forecast sections, we do these 2 studies for market survey and regression. Power market survey is basically done for the medium terms at 5-10 years, and this is used in transmission planning, and it is based on the PMS software developed by ASDA, USA, and regression that is done for the 20 to 25 years. It is used in generation expansion planning and EView software that is mainly used for this regression, and it is created by Creative Micro Software, California, USA. PMS model outputs basically gives us discourse forecast, that is distribution companies. That will I explain later that what is meant by discourse forecast. The PMS model outputs gives us substation-wise forecast, category-wise forecast, summary of each discourse, that is distribution companies, civil administration division wise forecast, civil administrative district wise forecast, overloaded 132 and loads on 132 kV substation, and month-wise demand projections, province-wise forecast and consolidated forecast of whole country. That is basically the map of whole Pakistan. Whole Pakistan is divided into 10 discos. That you can say that TESCO, PESCO, Travel Electric Supply Company, Peshawar Electric Supply Company, that is whole of the Pakistan is divided into 10 discos. The discos mainly govern the 132 and below levels for of the transmission. Report being published by load forecast is PMS for each discos and PEPCO since 1964. That they have been publishing. Regression forecast since 1994. Indicative generation capacity plan has been published, and it is for the 2018 to 40. And power balance less demand versus supply power data for 18 to 25. That I will show on the next slide. Data reference book since 2008 we have been publishing in power system statistics. That is our discos wise demand forecast. That is, we have over 10 discos that manage the 132 and below level. That is the year-wise demand that we have mentioned here, and with the percentage-wise, and the percentage-wise growth that has been increased. Below you can say we have also given the these are the 10 discos that governs the 132 at 66 kV level, and this is the year-wise demand, and we have given the growth rate with the percentage the load has been increased. We can see that in 2025 the load has been increased, that the maximum generation reached up to 37,671 megawatt. Generation planning and optimization section. Generation planning section, the main objective of this department to develop least cost generation expansion plan for long-term planning horizon, that is 20-25 years, by considering reliability indices. What generation planning department do? It has four points. That what capacities to install to meet the demand and ensure an appropriate level of reliability. How to pick the best combination among the different technologies at hand. Where to locate the new generation facilities with respect to fuel handling, availability of water and requisite infrastructure facilities. When to incorporate new generation into the system. That is the whole responsibility of the generation planning department. That the software used by generation planning departments are basically worldwide software. That WASP, it is Wind Automatic System Planning, that has always been used by Pakistan for getting the national power plan in 1994. And SEPCO System Production Costing Program, that was used in 2011 by